How's plans for the canoe race coming along?
Great, Robert. The motels are all full. Even the campground at Pines is full.
Really? That's great.
So Jody and Beth have headed down to Florida for another of their adventures.
Donuts, that, and the
Hey, Nori Picnic's flying in from Alaska to cover the canoe races. Haven't seen her in years.
So, did you guys hear the latest?
Oh, please tell me they're impeaching Obama.
There was another disappearance at Hartwood Pines last night. A young newspaper intern. The sheriff has the search party out there now.
Again? How many disappearances does that make?
Oh, come on, it's just another case of someone lost in the woods.
This happens every few years, Phil. Something's in those woods.
Is it time to call out the Finding Bigfoot team, Linda?
Phil, you were back in school with us in the 70s. That's when all this started.
It wasn't just the disappearances. People had sightings of this thing. Even some teachers. Woodland, Delp, McLean, and Spencer.
You guys, come on.
Phil, I was hanging out with Joel there an hour before he disappeared. We were friends. He never talked about leaving town or anything. After that, he went into the woods and disappeared. How do you explain that?
People get lost, Diane.
His car was left running and there were large animal tracks all the way around it.
Well, I agree with Linda. There is something out there, and who knows who the next victim might be.
Oh, hey, look. Les Moore and Kayla Williams are having an anniversary. Their daughters, Summer and Keisha, put an announcement in the paper. Are you okay, Professor? You've been looking a little stressed lately.
Yes, I am. I'm sorry. It's Bernice Amber. She's missing.
Missing, sir?
Yeah, she's been on a journalistic internship for a small community newspaper up north.
Where's she at? Gaylord, Johannesburg, Lewiston?
No, it's a little town called Grayling. It's a tourist town. It's a vacation spot where people from here go to take long walks in the woods or canoe trips down the Osama River.
So what happened to your niece?
Amber was doing some research on a legend in a state park up there, and she went out on a search late one night and she never returned. They found her car the next morning, empty.
So maybe she got lost at night.
No, the police and park rangers have been all over the area. And besides, Amber and her father used to go camping there all the time. She knows her way up and down every trail in the park. Now I'm afraid she's disappeared.
I called the sheriff of Crawford County, a Mr. Hatfield. He said this isn't the first missing person case.
Really? How many have there been?
He didn't say exactly, but he was very concerned. He was thinking about calling in another agency to help out with the investigation. But that was just only in the talks. This case is actually getting cold.
Wow. But it sounds like it's turning into a pretty high-profile case.
Yeah, this case has been receiving a lot of notoriety. While various people have gone missing around the park over the years, the last one they could definitely tie to the park was the case back in the mid-70s. This local teenager named Joel Dare, known for getting into trouble, disappeared in the park. Sheriff Hatfield said Dare was probably involved with drug dealers. His car was found running, door wide open. Oddly, there were paw prints of a large dog around the car. No trace of Joel Dare has ever been found since then.
So what do we do?
Investigate. Learn all we can about what's going on. At least venture into the park and see if we stumble upon something.
And preferably not disappear?
I'll scout around the woods as the Cardinal to see what the authorities haven't found yet.
I'll run in town to see what I can find out.
That's right. Temporary railroads were often set up to get supplies into the old logging camps and to transport logs out when the rivers weren't deep enough. Some of the lumber barons were superstitious. Occasionally, they made special spikes as good luck charms to keep the railroad and workers safe.
I can see why she was investigating this legend. There are all kinds of reports of sightings of a werewolf-like creature here, documented cases. In 1975, two sisters, Vicky and Becky Ebert, spotted this creature near Pine Knoll Trailer Park. A short time later, Chris Austin, Sid Canfield, and John Huntilla saw it while playing basketball near the elementary school. Another time, some fishermen, Robert Woodland and Michael Depp, spotted the creature near the Osable River. Then there was a time a bunch of teens from Maple Forest were out on Jones Lake.
Okay. I'm not much of a believer of monsters, but something is scaring those people around here.
When I was checking the county plat book, I noticed a small piece of private property surrounded by park property that may be worth checking out. It's on the same side of the park where Amber disappeared. So now what do we do?
There is one more person I'd like to talk to. A retired park historian.
There are many legends in these North Woods. The early pioneers that settled this area often told tales of dogmen, werewolf-like creatures that they'd encountered in the forests. You know, this legend of which you speak goes back to the 1890s, when this area was being logged out by the Shanty Boys, known by most people as lumberjacks. It was 1893, and a logging camp was established in this area before it became a state park. It was early autumn, and the men were just getting ready for the winter logging season. They had sent back word to the logging company offices about a possible wolf problem on nights with a full moon. A short while later, a messenger from the Salling Hansen Logging Company arrived and found the place looking to be abandoned. Even the cooks were missing. He began looking around, and eventually he did find people, or what remained of them. They'd been attacked by some large animal. All the employees were eventually accounted for, except for one. A local by the name of Lukos Anthro from the nearby village of Parashini. A while earlier, there'd been a series of attacks in that small village as well. It seems a large number of citizens died in a short amount of time. Anthro was never heard or seen from again. The logging camp was abandoned and the land turned over to the state, and then it became a state park.
Well, that's an interesting campfire story.
What do you think of these tales and the disappearances?
Most myths have a basis in truth. There's stories about vampires and werewolves that just aren't easy to brush off.
Are you saying you believe in this creature?
I'm telling you, beware of where you go. These forests can be very dangerous.
So what do you think of him, Rich?
I don't know if I trust him, Chris. And from what he told us, he was at the state park when the creature turned up beginning in the 70s.
So what now?
Let's spread the word around town that we're going to search for this creature tonight and see if he shows up.
Okay, just one more question though.
Yeah?
Can we borrow the Lone Ranger 6-shooter? I thought it was funny.
Rich, are you sure you're okay about this?
Yeah. Look, I can do this by myself.
No, it's okay. I don't believe in werewolves, but we do believe in supernatural forces, you know, God, Satan, angels, fallen angels, you know?
You mean, you wonder if this might be demonic? It's possible, I guess. But I think it might be something more natural. But we shouldn't do anything without prayer. it's made out of.
Probably forgot something again. His head wasn't screwed on straight.
It's okay. I'm here to help you. Oh yes, give me the sheriff's department, immediately.
All right, we've got canoe number 47 coming in, racing the storm. 47 is on its way in. They are moving right behind the lightning. They are moving the storm.
Looks like we got a Grayling just in time. You see all those news vans coming up? Channels 9 and 10.
It'll be front page news of the Crawford County Avalanche.
No kidding. So let me get this straight. The man we talked to in the shack was Joel Dare, the teenager that disappeared years ago?
Yep. Remember, police believed he was dealing with drug dealers back then. He decided to start up his own drug business and stage his own death. He used the werewolf legend to scare people away from the park so he could do his drug business there. A buddy of his played the part of the werewolf.
We have a turn coming up. I love the names these village residents give their streets, like Colca Creek Road.
Colca? That sounds familiar.
The Grayling residents told me it's a Polish word meaning canoe racer.
Really? I could have sworn that was something to deal with comics.
You associate everything with comics. Sometimes I think you are a comic character.
Which reminds me, we gotta stop to pick up the newspaper. I gotta find out what's happening on the fan side.
Okay, we'll get one, but I get to read Stone Soup and Mary Worth first.
See? You're just as addicted to them as I am.
That only proves that I hang around you too much.
Alright then, blame me for everything.
Of course, that's what girlfriends report, to keep their superhero boyfriends humble.
Hey, boss. I want to give this to you.
What is it?
With all these cutbacks going on, I wanted to submit my application for editor for Corporate's new online news site. Journalism's in my blood, and I'm just going to have to evolve with the times. And I already have an idea for a series of stories, too.
Oh?
Yes. It involves the poor and the homeless, gangs, and a guy they call the Cardinal.
glad the only place that monsters are in the comics.